trust the idea that there are many sides to a story, and that there is there's a lot to be gained from having dialogue with people you disagree with.
Absolutely. I mean, there are experts in some fields, and we do need them. It is important. Like, if you want information about the Large Hadron Collider, you don't understand, like, what are you guys doing over there? Like, you need to talk to someone who actually understands it, who's an expert on particle colliders, and it takes a long time to develop that sort of knowledge base and have an understanding of what they're actually trying to accomplish. What is the Higgs boson? What is this particle that is a part of that? What? It's the earliest stages of the universe. What? Okay. You're going to measure it?
I'll be in the bar.
It exists for a quarter of a second or something like that? What are you guys doing? Yeah, but the problem is, like, to bring it back to COVID, one of the things that Fauci said that was so wild, he said, when you are criticizing Anthony Fauci, you're criticizing science.
Yeah.
Well, that is just the fact that he felt so confident that he could say that is such a crazy thing to say. And then science became like an object.
It became a religion.
Well, science is supposed to be data. It's supposed to be measuring data, and it's supposed to never be settled. And it's always supposed to have a bunch of people from various positions of viewing down on this thing, analyzing it with new studies, new data, new tests, new hypothesis, working out and communicating with each other. It's not supposed to be a brick. Like,
right.
Like, this is a brick. If you question the brick, like, no, this is a fucking fluid thing that exists only if you allow people to ask questions. The moment you stop questioning data, then, like, and even real experts, like guys from MIT and Harvard were getting deplatformed off of Twitter because they didn't believe it. They were saying, look, I don't think this lockdown idea is a good idea. I think it's bad for children. I think children aren't even really susceptible to this disease. Like, why are we doing this? Like, what's going on?
It became a faith. It became dogma.
Yeah.
And if you questioned the dogma, you were a heretic.
Yeah.
You were kicked out of the religion. It was a scary time, and it still is scary. We deal the Actors Gang, my nonprofit in Los Angeles. We have education programs, and we've been dealing with the ramifications of that lockdown for the last 5 years. There's kids that are had 2 years robbed of them from socialization and education. And,
imagine that was your senior year of high school, too.
Oh, my God.
Fuck.
And we're dealing with the after effects of that. And gratefully, the kind of work we do brings them out again and, gets them expressing emotions, making eye contact, having experiences with other children and that are productive. And, the good news is you can get out of that funk, but it was really scary to see those kids walk in to classes after that lockdown because they wouldn't make eye contact, looking at the floor, wow. Kind of desocialized and traumatized, and it was really scary.
Critical development time for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they're wearing, imagine being a toddler and all of a sudden everyone has a mask on. And
yeah, it's weird.
You don't want to wear the mask. They keep trying to take it off. And people yell at them, put it back on. So it's like terror and anxiety and confusion. Also, you're not reading people's faces, which is like an important part of the developmental process. You get to know people. You read faces. You see how people talk. All of a sudden, everyone's wearing a mask. Everyone's robbing a bank. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to approach it all with just the openness and a compassion for people that went through that. I don't attach blame. I don't, everyone, there was a pretty sophisticated propaganda machine that was happening. And I have great compassion for people that fell into that. And I just want us to not do it again. I want us to have the knowledge and the consciousness to not fall for that again.
Yeah, hopefully. It's just, it was very eye-opening that it was so easy to pull off, that it was so easy to get people to just gang up like that. It was just...
It said a lot about us, unfortunately. And, I hold faith in humanity, but that was a That was a tough one.
I do as well, and I think it was a learning moment for a lot of people, whether they admit to it or not, whether they're public about it or not, because I know a lot of people that just weren't public about their dissent, but they really didn't like any of it, and they just didn't really have a position to talk about it, and they wanted to keep their job and wanted to keep their place in the community or whatever it was that they were trying to protect, and they kept their mouth shut. But you'd get a couple of drinks in them when they were alone, they would tell you.
Well, that begs the larger question: is it freedom of speech if when you freely speak, your job is threatened and
Right.
your future is threatened? Are we living in a free society?
Right.
It's and that's not just COVID. That's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's almost everything.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most important things that we do is we disagree. We talk. You have conversations, and
It's the only way to learn.
and you get exposed to information that maybe you didn't know before you establish this opinion that you're arguing.
Do you know what was the big tragedy, in my opinion, during that time period is that we totally lost the water cooler conversation, that accidental conversation that happens at work with a coworker who you don't necessarily agree with, but it's a human being expressing something to you in person, and you have to deal with that person and their opposing viewpoint.
Yeah.
We got into our own silos of thought and algorithms of thought, and everything we experienced during that period of time was an affirmation of what we believed rather than a challenge to it.
Yeah.
And so the water cooler was completely eliminated. The idea that the accidental conversation at a bar where you're watching a game on the television and someone sits next to you that is not necessarily of your belief system, but you buy them a beer and you watch the game together.
Yeah.
All these moments of meeting up that were eliminated, and that's what I love about sports. I love that you can go watch a game and not think about politics or
Right,
not think about your
right.
differences and think about the team that you like and support them together. Same thing with theater or any kind of gathering of individuals, music. What I love about the theater that we do is that we're able to take people to a common emotion, and we never want to have a completely. We don't want audiences that think the same, right? You want a disparate amount of people, different beliefs, that you can get them to share a common emotion, get them to laugh together, get them to feel something and cry together. That's the community you're able to build when you're doing a show, as you know.